hello? Can everybody hear me? It looks like... This is very strange. I was waiting for an advertisement to start playing and now I feel silly. Can folks hear me? Hello, hello? Can everybody hear me? It looks like... Oh, cool! Yay! Awesome! Sorry about that, everybody. How awkward. Oh my gosh. Wow. Alright. Hi, and welcome to Stonehearth dev stream number 255, The Visual Story. It is not Tom, no, it is Allie. Hi. Oh my gosh. Okay, yeah, so that was new. Normally when everything gets switched over, you like wait for an advertisement to play before you start talking. That way, like, later on it doesn't have like a weird dead spot or you guys like don't miss something in the beginning. Stuff like that. But it didn't happen this time. So, hi! This is Allie. I do concept art and illustration and more recently some visual exploration and development on Team Stonehearth. And this is my very first 2017 art stream, which is happening at the very unfamiliar hour of 6 p.m. Pacific time on a Thursday night. Normally we're up bright and early Wednesday mornings doing art streams together, so this is quite a switch. I'm super excited. I've been looking forward to this all day. I hope you guys are doing awesome and having a really great day or evening, morning, midday, afternoon, wherever you may be. Yeah, so hi. Alright, so a quick heads up. We're gonna be like painting on this thing in the middle here that you can see, and I'm gonna talk about it too. This guy. Oh, is it not? Oh my gosh, everything is so out of sorts. But what I was trying to say is that you're gonna see me looking down a lot, and that's because, so normally when I do the arts on the stream, I've got my old trusty dusty Intuos 3 here, and it's all like chewed up and banged up because I've had it for a million years. But today, because accuracy is important, I'm gonna be using my little screen device guy here, and it is in my lap. So if you see me looking down a whole bunch, never fear. I do have the chat window in my screen so I can see everybody. I just hope it's not too awkward for you guys. In the future, I might fuss with that and see if we can find a better solution, because I don't know, I think it's kind of awkward. I did try mounting the camera to the Masonite, and it was really weird. Like, you could like see up my nose and look at my brain, and nobody wants that. Wow, I am so excited to be hanging out with you guys tonight. Welcome everybody. Gosh, who we have here? Bill Rye, the 8-bit crab, B-Bean, Joe Maxrogue, Geister, or Jester? I don't know. I'm probably murdering that. Awineko, Oghead, Feral Gerald. My gosh, welcome everybody to the stream. If I mess up your name, please do not hesitate to let me know. I will do my best to remember going forward. It's so cool to jump in here and meet some of you guys, since again, with my former time slot, I wouldn't have really had the chance to jam with some of you folks. So this is very exciting. Oh my gosh, this light that I've got up here is super crazy. Alright, I don't even know what that is. It's like a chord bobble situation. It's text. Alrighty, so I mentioned a bit ago before the introduction, and you've got all this stuff on your screen that you're looking at. So since the start of 2017, this is what I've been up to. And what you're looking at here is like pure blue sky visual exploration for concept art for Stonehearth, which is a little weird to think about because Stonehearth is already kind of a thing. Like, it has a look, you can play it. But moving forward, what we wanted to do was really start like experimenting with that and pushing on it. And nothing you see here is like committed. All of this stuff is seriously like, hey, what would happen like in this little guy here? What would happen if like we had our cute cubey houses and we like smoothed them out so they weren't like super steppy? What would that look like? And so on and so on. That's a pretty broad generalization there, but it's just so you get the idea. Or like this really elaborate one over here is like, hey, what would happen if you took something that looked like the Splash style and tilted it up? Never mind like the host of other questions that this raises in the long run to even consider something like this for serious, but it's more just of a case of throwing stuff at the wall and seeing how it looks and seeing what's fun and getting us on the dev team thinking in interesting ways about a game that we're already very, very familiar with. Warrior Servant is asking, can we have waterfalls? They look really good in the bottom. maybe someday, but at the moment I wanted to include them as a way of showing depth with this idea of like this like up high vista looking down sort of a situation up here. Again, to create like distance and depth. And this is still pretty raw and rough all over the place. Like I was, before the stream, I was, what layer am I on anyway? I'm not even sure. That sure doesn't say anything. Get that up to speed. I think I was coloring right over here, or shading. I'm not working in color. So yeah. With this piece, what I've been exploring in particular is the idea of a visual story within Stonehearth. And for the sake of speed, a lot of the exploration here has been somewhat abbreviated. Like, the shape language in the trees is limited to like one style. It's not like a bunch of different variety just yet. But the point of this particular image is to describe the world that the Hearthlings live in as a place that isn't necessarily made for them. And what I mean by that is when you open up a game of Stonehearth, like everything is cubes, and it's all very adorable and cute. And it's not to say that it shouldn't be adorable and cute. It should, absolutely. But it's already laid out nice and neat in a grid, and you have this impression, I have this impression when I see it, that like this is a place where we definitely belong, where everything is at our disposal. And what I wanted to start to mess with was playing with the shapes of things between what's familiar and what's unfamiliar. In the case here, you can see that places where Hearthlings touch have a very cubic kind of look to them, a very soft cubic look. And places where they haven't been yet, you know, they're a little bit jagged, they're a little bit pointy, and they're set off at angles. Again, this is still very broad and very general. This is the first of possibly many studies along these lines to come, so you guys are getting a super sneak peek, and I hope it's not too confusing. Yeah, so that's basically been, it's also a good opportunity to start playing with things like how would we mess with depth of field to create like a soft focus and things. And I want to iterate again, just in case people are getting super confused, please don't look at the things in these paintings and be like, oh my gosh, this is what the game is going to look like, because that's very, very likely not the case. These explorations will wind up serving like kind of like guiding stars and concepts that we can apply to what we do have in the game. And who knows, maybe other things. But I just really want people to know that, like, don't look at these things and go, oh my god, and take it like super literally. Because this is all about exploration and messing around and pushing on things. This is just straight up concept art. Heretical diagonals, don't get too excited. Oh my goodness. Alrighty, so I want to make sure I'm not missing anything. My goodness gracious. Actually, that's from what Bibian is saying. Because again, like there's gonna result a lot of art from all of these studies and a lot of these things, and I would like for those to be compiled at some point for everybody. But it's weird to say something like that when, again, the majority of it hasn't been drawn just yet. I would hope that stuff like this would be available for folks to peek at and look at later on down the line. Oh yeah, and if you look right here at this. This is a sneak peek of the next splash screen, which is all about celebrating the happiness system that Richard and the rest of the team has been like working on and pushing on and seeing how it works. You can kind of see the gradient of each of the Hearthlings going from this poor fella over here with the rocks on his back. You know, they made him carry all the stuff, all the way up to this lady in the front holding the banner, leading the way to settle their brand new shiny town. Okay, so let's dive back in. Where in the world are we gonna start this time? You know what? I think since we're on... Okay, this is a typo. That should say 3rd floor, so that means we're on this level now. And we're gonna start out by doing, so this is gonna be a painting stream. Now the last stream I did in 2016 we actually played around with some blue sky concept art stuff, and we did a scene that was like reflections in water. Stephanie, no! So what you're gonna see, like, this is what you see on your screen is actually extremely accurate to what I do. Like, this isn't like tailored specifically to be a stream exercise type of a deal. So the changes that you witness, they may happen more gradually, they may happen very quickly, but this would be, you know what, I just realized my hand is over this, so if we move it over here, I'll be able to keep up with you guys even better. Ah! No, stop that. Photoshop, you're mad with power. So while I'm working, I would like to take this as an opportunity to talk to you guys about cool visual ideas, since the whole theme of this stuff, this month in particular, but quite possibly moving forward. But, like, if you consider all the things that we have in Stonehearth, and then think about, like, what would make it feel very lived in, feel very cool, like, it'd be cool to hear what you guys think about that too, because we're all thinking about that, and it turns out it's a pretty huge thing. Happy New Year, Syncrify! Right, we're not working on this house. We're gonna be working on that house, but not yet. Oh man, I'm working on my little tiny screen here, it's so weird. Been staring at a much bigger screen, and the light overhead is killing me. Oh, the glare. Doot doot doot. I really wanted to get in here and do like a bunch of different types of foliage and different shapes in the trees, not just these little cone ones, but for this week in particular, I had a particular emphasis on getting together enough things to start bringing the rest of the team up to speed with like these very initial passes. That way we can start incorporating feedback as soon as possible. So it's very much becomes kind of a matter of like, how can you do something like this where you're supposed to take your time and explore in a very economic way. That way nobody is surprised too much later on when you show up with things, and everybody kind of knows what's been cooking. And that's really the best way that you can start to get everybody's opinions in on a thing. I wish I could just turn out that light right over my head. The one behind it is fine, but then it might look weird on the camera, so I don't even know. BB is saying, I have a question. Will it be able to do road with dirt or sand and not wood? I am not really, definitely not at the moment. You could model it to look like it is made out of those things, but like literally made out of those things, probably not right away. Though from a concept art standpoint, that could be really pretty. I mean, this has like kind of like a little path cleared out around it, but it's not really specified yet as to what this is, since it's still very loose. I'm thinking for future explorations it would be useful to keep these in tighter vignettes, much like the ones you see up here, just because they're much quicker to work on. But they also allow to like focus on particular details like cobbled stones or caves or things like that. But it's really going to depend, because it's kind of hard to think about things like waterfalls and, you know, sloping cliffs and stuff like that when you're looking at one corner of it. Yeah. Okay, so along what Bibian is saying, in the drawing, I'm suggesting that this earth around this tiny little starting town has just been kind of like pounded down and smoothed out. Though again, just in case, because again, I don't want people to be too confused. The things that we're drawing, since it's just concept art, that doesn't mean 100%. Wow, this is going in the game. This is all about seeing ideas and quick iteration and honestly having fun and being creative with it, because I mean this is super exciting. I hope for the rest of the team, but it's super exciting for me too, because it's like we can have this as an opportunity to look at a game that we are all very fond of and work very hard on, but in ways that we haven't really thought about before. And as time goes on and I get a little braver with some of this decision making, you know, that's the hardest part about this entire project has been like, oh, but if I draw something like that, you know, I'm taking it very, very literally right out the gates. If I draw something like that, I mean, there's no way we'd ever do that. But it's like the whole point of this is to just blow it open and think about it in different ways. Oh my gosh, Legendary Eagle, your name is so green. Will grass ever grow back? Oh, I don't know. I cannot promise this. Oh, there you are, Celestra. I see you now. You're no longer me. Also, I'm not always Stonehearth anyway, so you're no longer Stonehearth. See. Miss Mecha Zero says, just tape a piece of paper over that light in a hoop. Prevents glare. Light in a hoop. They're actually off. The light in question that is being problematic is that one on the ceiling. And I'm not above taping things to it. But the stream has already started and nobody wants to look at my shins. Oh. So, Mel Lopez, the quick answer is we're not going to be doing we're not going to be doing the regular Wednesday morning streams like we have in the past. The whole schedule has been consolidated down from 3 times a week to 1 time a week, and we decided what would be really cool for everybody who comes to these is to widen it with as many different perspectives from as many different disciplines on our team as we can get on the air. That way you guys have an even bigger window into our process across. Oh my gosh, I'm coloring this thing I'm not supposed to be coloring again. God, I forgot how hard it is to talk while drawing. I should honestly practice this. Thank you guys for putting up with me. But anyway, we wanted to pick a window that was convenient for everybody to be able to come online and share with all of you. But also, in doing this, we give you guys an even bigger window into what it is we're doing every single day by having potentially like design streams and animation streams. That's kind of the dream, is increasing that whole window of communication and visibility on this project that I'm sure sometimes it looks like we just work so very long on. And it's true, we do work so very long on it. And we want you guys along for as much of that ride as we can. You're fine, Jesse. Welcome to the stream. Miss Mecha Zero, Jessie, has the most adorable dog on the planet. She is the size of a horse and thinks she is as big as a rabbit, a very small rabbit. And she is all wiggles and fluff, and her name is Pepper. Love for Pepper. I can't bring any of my animals to work. I'm very jealous. My cats would be too scared. I got a little lumpy black cat. She would just cry. She would say meown. 'Cause that's what she says when she's scared. I got a parrot recently, I am incredibly excited by this. I actually drew him. He's been my driving buddy. Here he is. He's telling me to focus. He's very small, but he is kind of loud sometimes, and he's still a bit nippy. So maybe someday he can come hang out, but see, Celestia's saying you could bring the bird. I really want to bring him. His name is Charlie. He's a little black cap conure, and I adore him. He giggles sometimes, and it's just adorable. Oh, yeah, sorry. I mentioned at the beginning of the stream, but for anybody joining us in the middle, the reason I am staring intensely at the floor is because my drawing tablet's in my lap, and what you see on the stream, I've actually got it mirrored to one of our other monitors, so you can, like, see my, my cursor moving around and see what layer I'm on and see that this is not how you spell anything. That reminds me, I should have probably checked, because sometimes I name my layers really funny things, and that would have been really embarrassing. But yeah, this is a concept art stream.
Hello.
Hi.
Freaked the stream out. With lower lighting. And
Stephanie's here.
the repositioned camera.
Oh no, up the nose.
From a distance.
They can't see out the window, can they?
No, I don't think so.
Okay, it would actually be cool if they could, like, see down. But I don't really know how to do that.
They can definitely see your...
They can see my face better than they could before.
Oh, I see what you mean. You don't want them to see out that window.
I don't want them to accidentally see someone's monitor.
Oh, okay. Cool.
Because I tried perching it over there and they could see right out.
Uh-huh.
And I'm like, nothing's importance out there, but I don't think that would be good.
Yeah.
Nothing!
Nothing.
Look at the ceiling! It's a good ceiling!
See that side?
We could.
I don't know.
I mean, you can see my face better than the top of my head, so I would consider that an improvement.
Alright. Cool.
Thank
want
you.
Any of the other lights?
No, I
That's
was
your
finding that they were like really, really bright.
They are very
Like all at the same, like, okay, that's a really stupid thing to say, but all at the same time it like kind of bleached everything out and I looked like a weird ghoul of some kind.
My mom
Pick
always like turns the flash up to super ultra high.
So everyone's got like laser vision and like ghosts.
It's the fake pancake makeup.
So good.
Yeah.
All right, I think we can roll with this, and that should be. Oh, it's totally up the nose. Look, it's my brain. It's fine. It's fine. I'm looking down anyway. I'm looking down. It's fine. It's fine. We can do it. We can fix it.
Want me to find it.
Thank you for your help, though.
My pleasure. We can put it on a box, maybe.
Maybe.
Maybe. Look, it says extra lighting poles. Whatever that means.
Ooh. I don't know what that means.
Extra lighting parts, maybe?
Oh, it says extra lighting parts.
That would explain it.
I'm a very good reading. This is not.
Are they not extra lighting parts?
It is. I was just being shouty and obstinate because I'm excited. Let's not hit the microphone too much. Oh. Fidget.
Isn't this so exciting, stream?
Sorry, stream. Bear with us.
Apologies.
I should have tried harder during my setup phase, but I gave up too quickly. But conceivably, you can now see the face more than the part of my
just
hair.
your nose?
Just my nose. And it gets worse too because I do like the art pretzel thing where I like ball up around whatever I'm doing, and it's just really awkward.
Hey, you know, one day it might be useful for rolling down hills or something. I don't know.
Oh man.
I've always been so jealous of like all the video game characters, like Link and everybody else, and they just do a forward roll, and it's like
I know. I want to know how to dodge roll.
Yeah. Like
I don't know what button to hold down in real life though.
Everyone can do it.
Everyone.
Like, it's just
You just get real excited and dodge roll wherever you want to go, and it just looks amazing.
Yeah, right. So elite. every single Dynasty Warriors character, all 150 of them, whatever.
Oh, that's a
Okay.
lot of.
I will
That's a
leave you.
lot of kids.
See you guys.
Ugh.
Thanks for allowing me to interrupt you.
Absolutely. Thank you for your help.
Oh, my pleasure.
All right. So, hopefully that will be a bit better on the camera. Thanks everyone for bearing with us. Let me check and. Da. In Taekwondo, you just put your forearm in front. Oh man. I want to dodge roll. Concept art's nice, guys, but here's what I'm thinking. I'm thinking dodge roll tutorial. And it would just be me attempting to dodge roll and you guys telling me how ridiculous I look, I guess. I don't know. You know what? That's not a good idea. Also, I'd probably break something either on my own person or in the room, and either way, no one would be happy. Mally's here! Where's the parrot? Yeah, there's a parrot. Here's a parrot. This is Chuck. He's yelling. He's saying, "Come back here." Oh my gosh. Maybe one day, just for special occasion, we'll bring in Charles. And he'll try to eat the stream camera, because he's just a small bird and he doesn't understand that there are things in this world that he shouldn't nibble. Hello, Mally! No, Synchrify, you say that, but the truth is, he doesn't. So the sun comes up and he's just like, okay, I like this. He only screams if he can see me leave the room. Then it's fireworks. But he only does it a few times, and he usually calms down and he just makes these really upset squeaky noises that sounds like he's trying to catch his breath and is having a breakdown, and it's really upsetting. And then I come back in the room and he's just perfectly fine. Last morph, we are doing concept art. We are doing concept art for Stonehearth. And you guys are actually joining me on my project of the last 2 days? Two days? I mean, this is actually part of all of it, so everything on the page I've actually been working on for a bit longer than that. There's some stuff at the bottom there that you haven't seen yet. It's gonna be one of those paint all the things kind of nights. Which biome? So, this scene is set in the temperate biome, way up high. So when it's done, hopefully there'll be like some atmospheric perspective and a little bit of lighting help to help push that depth. But I wanted to also borrow this as a chance to play with horizon and how we make our isomorphic view look more epic instead of just looking flat at the ground. And you know, it's like we look out at the distance at the horizon and at the mountains cutting into the sky. But what if it were possible to have more instances where you could like see over cliff sides and out onto lands just spilling out below even. And then maybe in the distance you might see a monster walk by, or you might see something that you want to explore later. Again, just talking about like totally blue sky, talking out of my face. Fog and horizon, yes! Oh man, that is something that I love about being out here in California, is when you get up early enough to watch the clouds retreat back over the mountain. I adore that. I think that is so, so pretty. I talk out of my face, Zelilus. I also sometimes say things because I'm always saying words And sometimes I don't think 100% about how I'm gonna end that sentence. And it's just, you know, everybody has to put up with that. It's better if I just draw pictures. Bless you all. I'm trying. Oh, man. I have to move my hand significantly less far on this monitor than I do on the other one. You wouldn't think it matters that much, but boy, does it. I didn't even check to see if I have the right brush or anything. I don't even know what this brush setting is. This has got all kinds of crazy spacing on it. It's working so far, so let's stick with it. Keep it cute, right? Hello, Michael Handy. Keep it clean, right? Keep it clean, keep it cute. I see, I see. And now to fill the whole screen with adorable bunny rabbits. Except, I feel like that would also take a very long time. Bbean, not necessarily. So Bbean is asking, Bbean is asking that a drawing like this takes 2 or more days to draw. And again, not necessarily. This drawing in particular evolved a bit as it was being made, so there was originally a pass that I started a while ago that was very flat, and at the time it wasn't very useful. So sometimes with things like this, you don't sit down and work on them through all in one shot. I've spent the past day working very dedicated on this piece in particular, so it's made the most headway today. But other than this one, for the past couple of days, I've also been working on these little sketches, as well as a few other things that I've set up for another bundle of work that's not house and cozy home related. So a lot of irons are all in the fire all at the same time. This one is technically more involved because there's just more moving parts. And as long as we're exploring this, you know, you may as well, since it's all in one place anyway. It's like, that's great. Whatever helps us communicate the concepts as early as possible, as effectively as possible. I also will admit that in all things along these lines, it is a huge challenge to not get carried away. Again, this is why you don't see like a million different kinds of like sprawling trees and grass and things like that, all in the interest of keeping things somewhat expedient. Because believe me, all I want to do is like slow it way down and just lovingly illustrate everything, but that's not going to be exceptionally useful for the first part of this project, which is just to communicate some of the very beginning ideas for a visual story to the rest of the team. All in good time. Wise has the Poyo button. Poyo's greater than bunnies. Welcome to Poyo Town. Oh, I wish! Syncrify, that's a great idea! You push the button, makes a little chicken noise. That would get taken away from me very quickly. And hidden. Or smashed. No, no, the 8-bit crab. Right kind of button. Hello, Voice of Grog. Welcome to our stream. We are doing some concept art today. And talking about possibly the best kind of Poyo button. How could you go wrong? See, Zalilis, I am exactly of the opinion that there is no such thing as too many Poyo noises. But I gotta be conscious. Or the cat will. Cat? The cat will destroy it. Is there a cat? Not one of my cats. My cats are just gooey fuzzballs. I could see them sneaking off with it. Hey, Cranky Pumpkaboo. Cranky Pumpkaboo is asking, what kind of tablet am I using? I am currently hunched over a Cintiq 13 HD. So it's this little guy. And I like it quite a lot, in fact. I've actually had a tremendously difficult time adjusting, well, honestly, from paper to drawing on a screen, because the screen has no texture, it's very slippery, and like it messes with my brain. But before now, I would primarily use digital drawing media to establish compositions and just really rough in thumbnails. Like I would like Blue Line and Lightbox for like finely done hand-drawn details, because that was just what was more comfortable, and I had a beast of a time adjusting to the Cintiq in particular. Like the reason my Intuos is even here at the office, my little old pen tablet, is because I would get so frustrated trying to just get my head around the stuff that I would just like break out my old equipment and resort to that. But the little Cintiq actually kind of helped me come around, because I can hold it in my lap, which gave me kind of one more like point of familiarity between it and like having a sketchbook or a piece of Bristol. Also, the screen being so much smaller, again, it's like I don't have to like move my hand like this to make a line that on this guy I can just like do that. And yeah, I know you can like resize it and do the same thing, but then you have to blow it back up and clean it up, and it's just a bunch of extra work. And excuse me. Ooh, I hear a blender. So yeah, I'm very fond of this little piece of equipment, and this is actually mine from at home. So I'm just slowly filling the office with my my art supplies. That's the plan. Before you know it, you're gonna see like charcoal and watercolor, and all will be lost. Everyone's just gonna be covered in a fine layer of pastel dust. Alright, that's probably good enough for just smoothing that out for now. We'll get back in there for the details in just a second. But first, let's get around these edges right here and start cleaning that up a bit. So, I guess to talk a little bit about my process, just a touch. So the reason I'm doing all of this now is when I first start coloring a scene like this, like I'm not zoomed into this level of detail and piecing it in a bit at a time, because it would be too hard to even remotely balance the lighting. Even like as unrealistic and weird as the lighting is currently in this scene, like it would be too hard to start from like a tiny corner. So what you're looking at is actually layers of refinement of a coloring, or I keep saying coloring, but this kind of grayscale painting that started actually at this level. So it's very small and very loose and very fast, and the idea is just to basically establish the values and then go in and use that as a foundation to paint on top of. That way, as I'm going in for detail and as I'm going in for structure, I know that a solid foundation is already there, and I don't have to think too hard about that. 'Tis not a PewDiePie hoodie, it's a Riot hoodie. I lost track of my other hoodie. I am weeping inside. It might be for the best. I wore that hoodie for a very long time. Just zoom back in. Yeah, Synchronify, thank you. It is spelled Cintiq. The bamboo is not bad though. It's a good little sketcher. I have up until this the Cintiq have always gone on eBay and gotten refurbished Intuoses for all of my tablet needs. It was just a very effective, inexpensive way of doing that. But I hit a project and seemed like it was as good a time as any to try on the little draw on the monitor thing, and it's been working out a lot better than it has. I'm really very happy with this equipment. It's been a little dusty lately though, aside from because when I'm not at work, I'm still usually drawing on paper. So it's kind of fun to break it back out again. Oh my gosh, yeah. I know how that is. I think so what Cranky Pumpkaboo is talking about with the disabling the touch so that your monitor, your Surface doesn't go insane. I think the other Cintiq that I work on here at the office also had those capabilities, and like if you touched it, it would activate and go nuts, and you'd just be like, no, I didn't want you to do that. Please stop. So you have to disable it or it gets really annoying. I mean, I don't know about anyone else in the rest of the world, but I rest my hand on the thing that I'm drawing on, so maybe that's bad practice, but I simply don't have a buff enough arm to hold my arm up all the time. My drawing hand would be super muscly, though. Goals. I mean, holy cow, I could arm wrestle anybody. Buff goals! 2017! Exactly! One buff arm and one small one. It would be amazing. Ah, Ethan, Michael Handy's son, says he likes the game because it's like Legos. Thank you, Ethan. I hope you make lots of cool things. Alrighty. So I'm basically giving this little area over here the same treatment as before. I'm just like going into the places like, again, everything is like loosely roughed in, so like it's like not really in the lines just yet. It's pretty close, but not quite. And tightening that up just a bit. I'm gonna do a pass on top of that that kind of helps pick out very selective areas of like highlights and shadows. Sadly, I will not be rendering this to like a full finished painting because, well, we just don't have time for that right now. And again, since this is really just like concept fiddling, I'm not sure how useful that's going to be just yet. I'm sure maybe at some point that would be. Oh my gosh, Stonehearth, like, that would be so cool. I wish. Zelius. I'm sorry, I keep wanting to call you Zelius, so if I stutter, please excuse me. Just paint for days. But don't paint for days. Alright, that's coming together pretty alright. I think that's supposed to be stone. Don't get too bogged down with it. I know. Alright, well, I'll call you Z then. Thank you. Dang it. Got my arm at a funny angle. I'm sitting there trying to make that line. Chimneys, man. Chimneys are super cute. Oh, let me know if the music ever hits a level for you guys that's painful or jarring, or if you can't hear it at all. I have the ability to mess with that. I think a while ago we were talking about trying to get some of the newer tracks onto our stream playlist, and I think that would be a really good idea. Not that I don't honestly love our stream playlist. Like, sometimes when I set up to stream and I've still got like I've got like pre-stream jitters out, one of the things that always kind of like centers me back down is like turning on the playlist and hearing the music, and it's just like, I love the music in this game. Maybe I'm biased, but I think it's very exceptional. BBN is asking, as concept art, would this be a miner's retreat up in the mountain, or more like the start of the village? I envisioned this as more like a very, very tiny, like, start out of a village. Admittedly, not an incredible amount of time was put into this piece as far as, like, the believability of what houses and things you would expect to see in a situation like that. Since, again, the goal of this piece was to show, like, what Hearthling settlements and things that have been touched by Hearthlings look like in comparison to the world around them. But, like, in as economic a way as we can do that starting out for now. It would be super fun to, like, do a version of this that's so much more intensive, and maybe when we're done with, like, all of our concept passes and we kind of have our final thing, like, maybe our big hurrah would be to revisit a concept like this and, like, make a poster that shows, like, actually a functional town and how it looks with the world around it, because that, to me, that idea right there, like, no matter what shape or form or way you play Stonehearth, that's a very compelling idea for me about just at a glance what the story of the world is. You know, you are this tiny little band of people wherever you hail from, and it's basically you out there in the wilderness, all of you, with whatever you brought with you and whatever you can find. And that to me is very compelling. So I'm loving the opportunity to introduce an idea of conflict in the shape language. Like, not necessarily like staring down the face of death danger, but the idea that the world isn't always just cute and square. Sometimes it's weird and unexpected, and like you're going in there and adding your form of order to some of this chaos and finding where you fit in it. So like I would love to continue to push on that and see how much further we can bring that out. But that's just me gushing. I get you. That's actually a good catch, Michael. Let me see. Where would be a good place to put that? You know what? That might have to be a final thing, because I can very easily go in, quick fix later and, like, paint it and add the shadows in the right place. But until I have everything balanced out, let's go ahead and leave that a bit wonky. And, you know, it's okay if it's a little wonky. But still, thank you. That's a good catch. And always happy to incorporate where I can. I mean, part of the stream is supposed to be a degree of interactivity, though. I do wish that this had a bit more, like, if we'd started from an earlier phase in this, you know, we wouldn't have covered a lot of ground, but I feel like it would have been a nice place for everybody to, like, jump in and be like, oh, we should see stuff like this. But I wanted to come in with what we've actually, like, been working on, so you guys can really get, like, a peek into what the set's like, and hopefully you think it's cool. And also, it's really great to, like, capture your feedback on things and hear what you're excited by, and I mean, it's all about, like, sharing from both sides of it. I mean, I'm over here drawing this thing that we've been working on for a while, yeah, but this is honestly really the first time anybody other than me has had prolonged exposure to this particular piece of art, which is something that before I turned on the camera, I kind of thought about that for a minute. I thought, well, that's a little strange, but at the same time, it's kind of exciting. Like, none of this stuff is necessarily secret by any means, so. But, you know, you're working on art, and it's one of those things where it's like, it's on your screen all the time. So, it's nice to actually get it out there. I think we're actually going to be able to stabilize this underpainting before stream's end, which puts us in a lovely place for this evening. And this has been super fun. Thanks everybody who's joined in this evening. We've got a little bit of time left. I'm not signing off just now, but I am really, really excited to be online and sharing with everybody again. Like, this is gonna be a super fun year. I want to do the banner in blue. That was like a weird little side detail that all of these got, was the banner is like the only Oh! What is this? What? It's a disaster. Oh, it's right here. Oh, throw it out the window. This one's ruined. Charlie, how did you let this happen? I was counting on you. Oh, it's all your fault, bird. You're just a drawing. I shouldn't say that. The real Charlie wouldn't have let me do that. He wouldn't have even let me draw on. He would have just taken the stylus out of my hand and tried to eat it. Would have prevented a disaster. Oh, he is! He is! He's like, no! It's there! It's there, you fool! Again, though, it's really not all that important. Keep it loose. Keep it fun. All I want to do is paint flowers on all of this. It makes it unique. You know, you have a point though. In digital art, it's really difficult to have, and you know, maybe this is one of the things about it that always kind of gets to me. I'm very much, like, on my own time anyway, I'm very much about mixed media, especially like paint and things that have an inherent unpredictable nature to it. But Like, things like the little blue smudge here and just, like, gesture and accident, it can be a really easy thing to just mash out whenever you do anything digitally, because honestly, you can just keep going on it for as long as you want. And I still say that there's a lot about it that is still going to, I mean, as long as you're, like, you know, drawing it, there's a lot about it that's still gonna have, like, that touch of handwriting, that, like, mark that identifies not just that it was made by a person, but even in hopefully all cases, like, a specific person. But I don't know. I think it's very easy to get very, very tight with digital media without even realizing it, just because it is so easy to do. You can undo forever, you can just paint on top of everything forever. I mean, okay, you can't undo forever, but you can paint on top of it. Mixed media, yes! New plan. We're just gonna do watercolor sketches of everything. Not gonna be useful, but it makes me happy. I think someday, though, it would be a lot of fun to do a, like a full-on illustration with, like, all the toys and all the tools, way down the line with Stonehearth. It would be a really fun subject. I mean, I get to draw Stonehearth stuff all the time anyway, so that's a thing, but, you know. Well, watercolor doesn't necessarily take forever. It just depends on how wet you like to work and if you have a hairdryer. Also, if you're working on really thick spongy paper, which once it's damp, it will never dry. But that might also be your technique. I know some things just work better if things stay damp. If we start talking about watercolor, I'm not gonna stop. It's really my favorite. Synchrophi is saying, I'm still having that block from drawing traditional to digital. I'm sure with more practice I can do it, but it feels off right now. Honestly, going between the two, I can get so hung up on that. I don't know. It really, like, I think no matter how much practice you get, you're always gonna have, like, a preference to one or the other, but that's not necessarily a bad thing. No doubt about it, though, like, it's gonna feel better with time. But it's also not a bad thing to have a preference over of one over the other, and it's still very valuable to have versatility. Which is why I have not given up and lightboxed this thing. Believe me, the thought has crossed my mind many times. But it's also far simpler a matter to edit a digital piece of art if we just want to try things on and paint on top of it. And you can do stuff like that with, like, tracing paper and all kinds of ways, you know, traditionally as well. But there's something kind of, like, ephemeral about it when you do it digitally, where it feels less permanent. Not in, like, the bad way where it's like, you know, it doesn't matter, but in the way that it's like, you know, you can literally put those edits and drawovers on another layer. Nothing is really getting, like, touched forever when you do that. So it's also a lot more possible to, like, pass it around to other people and have them draw on it without it, like, you know, being a thing where it's like, oh no, what if I damage this thing that is physical and very precious? Maybe one day in the far off future, if we find ourselves with extra time, we'll do a watercolor stream, but for now, let's keep it dev related. If we ever do that, if we ever do get to do a Stonehearth illustration though, that would be a fun thing to stream. Though I would still insist that we do that at a special time that's not cutting into anybody's hours. So I don't know. Haven's Blade is asking, will there ever be a better mode of transportation from a mine to town? What are you thinking? What is your thoughts? Like, from a concept standpoint, is there something that would just be like, oh man, this? Because in my mind, if I were to, like, sit down and sketch on something like that, I would think about, like, minecarts or something like that. But this is Stonehearth. This is a fantasy world. And maybe they do other things. Maybe carts, rails and lures, perhaps mine tracks, perhaps huge fluffy herd animals. Huge fluffy herd animals. Mine tracks can also be abused for making roller coasters. Shifty eyes. Actually, yeah, I've been having, I have in my save, I have this lovely patch of mountain behind my up-and-coming settlement, and the poor mason has to go all the way over there to get stone. And I feel terrible. All the nice metals. I thought I'd just, you know, build a couple houses over there and have like a whole settlement on that side, but I haven't gotten to it yet, so I don't know. It's still an early settlement. It has room to grow. Michael Handy suggests horses. I think we could take it further than that, but mostly because in the long run, I want to see more creatures that are specific to Stonehearth's lore. Sort of like the Varanus, how that's a thing that's very special to our game and our world. Like more fantastical things, but along the lines of like a pack animal. I mean, what if it's not fluffy? What if it's feathery? Herd Poyo! Welcome to the stream, Flipper02. Highland cattle. Whoa. Oh my gosh. I'm actually sorry to say it too, because I just said welcome, but we're gonna be winding down here in just a little bit. But I'm gonna stay on just a bit longer while we tie up a few loose ends here. I'm super happy. We actually got around to a whole bunch of stuff on this top tier over here. Brown cows with poofy ears! Yes! See, Synchrify, I love this idea. Wait, giant poyos. The shepherd eventually breeds poyos into a giant one. So that begins, in my mind, with, like, one day, your little red hen is sitting on top of an egg, like, the size of the tiny cottage. Poyo trail sleds! That'd be so cool. No, I'm sorry, Flipper02. I'm so sorry. Yes, that big. I will not settle for smaller. If we're gonna actually go big, it's got to be Poyo the size of Tiny Cottage. I mean, I feel like anything else would be a wasted opportunity. God, I just want to draw that now. There's a Poyo. He's on top of this guy's head. I can tell you where that Poyo is, though, because in that screen, it's not a hidden Poyo. Yippers, huh, Michael Handy? It's a start. It's a start. Now, I would love, and that's something that I thought about when the sketch for this started pulling together from, like, the super loopy-loose version of it, was, like, how do we inject more of a fantasy side of Stonehearth into it, and so that it doesn't feel like grim or like too too realistic, because again, you know, we live in a world that has like goblins and ogres and things like that. So it's like, I love the practicality of a lot of what we do. And maybe it's through something like just the rendering treatment in the end, or some of the colors that we use. Like, I think a huge step, and that's one of the things that kills me about doing these in grayscale, is I think a huge part of what we're looking for with all this visual pass that we're doing is in the color story. Giant pumpkin contest! Yes. That would be amazing. I would love it. Flip is asking, what am I using to draw with? I've done this a few times this stream, so sorry for everyone who's already seen this amazing thing. I'm using let me get there it is. I was looking for the camera where it wasn't. I'm using a Cintiq 13 HD. This is my little at-home workhorse, but it's here today to help us with the stream. Because what I'm doing right now requires a bit more precision than what I can get out of my Intuos. And I didn't want to waste time cleaning up messed up marks when we could just like try to get and I was a little worried about that, like getting the computer in here to be friends with my my little Cintiq, but it turned out to be pretty painless. No, Michael Handy, that is sad. A slave goblin, no. No. I will also admit I'm sympathetic towards the goblins. They're kind of my favorite. They're all gross and weird. I think they're adorable, though. Oh yeah, no worries at all. County fairs would be so cool. Maybe someday, in the faraway future. Or just to accidentally, like, similar to the funny haha of, like, you wake up and your chicken has laid an enormous egg, but, you know, the ability to, like, have certain crops just turn out unexpectedly large, or just, like, randomly different. Hopefully something like that wouldn't be annoying, but I think it would be very charming. Aw, you guys adopted a goblin! See, that would be cool. Okay, so you could, like, Geomancer summon a golem big enough to build a little mobile town on. And just, like, go. That sounds really magical. At the very least, this makes me want to do concept art of a Geomancer shopkeeper who rides around on a golem that is also their stall. And they can maybe sell you arcane items. In the far-off future where those are a thing. In my imagination. This is the fun part about concepting and just throwing stuff, is like, you just spitball ideas and it doesn't really have to make a lot of sense. Because that's not the point just yet. Alrighty. I think this is about as far as we're gonna take it for now. And it really doesn't have that much further to go. Which is fantastic, because I was hoping this piece here would be buttoned up today, and it does indeed look like it's on track for that. Which is amazing, and I'm super glad that you guys got to tune in and catch a portion. Oh, I forgot we colored the banner blue. Wow, that surprised me. Oh, man. Yeah. But anyway, I'm glad you guys were able to tune in and catch a portion of this process, and that, you know, we get to talk a little bit about what's going on the art side of things. A little bit under the hood and off to the side, like in the weird realm of like, hey, what happens if we do this? Because this stuff is really exciting, but at the same time, it's like, I was also worried, like, hopefully people aren't gonna like look too deep into this, but like, just get excited about the idea of like trying on a bunch of different things. So anyway, I had a blast, and I am really looking forward to where we wind up by the time the next time we do an art stream. So what I can do, since we left off here, is next time we do one of these, I will make sure that we bring in more of the concept pieces that have happened in the meanwhile. Since we're trading off, it's going to loop around to me eventually. But I'm going to bring in some more of the pieces that we've been doing in the meanwhile, so you guys can kind of like keep up with some things that have happened and see where they've evolved, which will give you a bit more of an insight as to this process and how all of this stuff, like, no matter how much polish or how neat a thing might look at any given moment, like, the purpose of all of these things is to basically serve as a communication tool and a conceptual springboard. And that's super exciting. So, like, it's never really about making the perfect painting. It's about getting as much detail as you need to communicate the idea and taking it from there. So, in my mind, that's super exciting. And, yeah, the next time we do one of these, I'll bring in where we wind up with a lot of this stuff. We may even still be in flight. Who knows? So, stay tuned for that. I hope you will. And everybody have a fantastic the rest of your evening, wherever you are. And fantastic the rest of your day. Thanks so much for coming in, and see you guys next Thursday. There we are. I couldn't find my mouse for a second.